Hello there, my name is Teleola and this is Career Talks with me. So, the purpose of this is to showcase Nigerian trained lawyers who are now in the diaspora doing amazing things. So, they'll be sharing their personal experiences, and this would help those who are looking to tow a similar path as them. This promises to be value packed. Make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another special guest. Like I say, all my guests are special. Her name is Gboremi, and she also works in compliance. So maybe that's why I'm so excited about this episode. Yeah, we work in the same field and even in the same industry, financial services. So yeah, this should be an exciting one. Okay, so let me just let you introduce yourself. Could you introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Gboremi, and just like Telly has said, I work in compliance. I work in compliance with Bank of America at the moment. Prior to this, I worked in Nigeria in a law firm. After which, I came over to the UK to do my master's. It was an LLM actually, and afterwards, I just made the shift to compliance.
So that takes me on to the first question, which is why did you decide to transition your career from law? You're working in a law firm, arguably one of the best law firms in Nigeria, to compliance within financial services in the UK.
Yes, I think really for me, it was a stop and reflect kind of moment. That's what it was for me. Life had been happening back to back to back for me. I mean, I had finished from Unilag, I went straight to law school, law. Right after I did my NYSC, and um, got into a law firm with that, and just continued the motions essentially. So, you know, right after that, again, 2 years in, went ahead to do my master's LLM. And I just got to a point where I really was just stopping to think. It was like a clearing my head kind of moment. And I just came to the point where I thought to myself, what do I really want to do? What do I really enjoy, even out of law? And for me, it was always the governance and, regulatory slash compliance aspects to law. And I just decided to take the hints and just go with that. So that really was it for me. It was a stopping to think moment. I had been doing the motions and I hadn't really stopped to think what I really enjoyed in law and what I really wanted to do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So it's important for you to sometimes just stop and think. Yeah, even though, she was a star student, she didn't mention the fact that she got a first class from the Nigerian Law School. And guys, you know that it is easier to get run over by a bus than to get a first class in the Nigerian Law School. So, yeah, kudos to you. So, So please, could you share the steps that you successfully took to transition your career from law to compliance?
Thanks for the question, Tele. So just to say the obvious, I mean, obviously, compliance is not too far-fetched from law. I mean, you have a whole law degree. We all know what goes into bagging a law degree, of course. And so, truly speaking, there's a lot of knowledge, really, from law itself that is transferable into compliance in every area, so to speak. So I'll just say, in terms of honing any skills that you already have, to be honest, you have the skill set. To be honest, you have the skill set as a law professional, as a legal professional. You have the skill set, and truly speaking, I dare say you don't need anything else. But of course, there is always continuous development, always, and of course more so in a different jurisdiction. So there's so much to add on to what you already have, and you can just look into those options. There's the ICA, there's courses you can take, the CISI, so many compliance courses that you can take that will be very beneficial to you in terms of skill sets. So if that's what you want to do, if you already have a career in law, truly speaking, you have all you need. If you already have a legal background, you have all you need. Well, the additional add-ons aren't bad, but you definitely do already have the experience, the knowledge, everything that you need to take into that role and to apply into compliance. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for that. So in terms of job hunting, what do you think made you stand out as a candidate?
In terms of job hunting, I mean, the CV was one thing, I guess. I had sent my CV out to a whole lot of people to just look at because I got my fair share of unfortunately and no's and, I regret to inform you, all of that. There was a whole lot of that. CV was good. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, your CV is great. You should have no problems going forward. I tried to revamp and to reword and do all of that. But honestly speaking, it was the networking that did it for me. And to be honest, I don't think I'm the best at networking. This is a skill you have to. You is really you coming out of your shell and selling yourself, so to speak, and that's not really fun for anybody. People just want to, show you their CV. I've done all this work, so I mean, I'm able to do this. And obviously, when you go through the motions with interviews as well, but a referral really came in handy for me in the role that I eventually got after doing all the motions. So that's what did it for me. I'm sure if I had kept at it and I didn't get any referrals and none of that, I probably would have gone something along the line. Everybody always just says it's only a matter of time, which is true. But when to have gotten it at the time I got it, I know that it had to do with a lot of speaking up. And it wasn't even me that met the person directly who did this for me. So it was actually an auntie and telling people and people just having it at the back of their mind. So she had mentioned to somebody, her own friend, who then said she had a son who had a friend who knew somebody in compliance in where I am now, and that was it. And I got the referral. And the truth be told, you really just need one foot in the door. Unfortunately, the way things work in the UK, they just want the experience. You can have all the degrees, you can have a fantastic legal background, you can have that first class, but they really just want the experience. That's what tends to do it for them. And I didn't have that experience in the UK, specifically experience in the UK, because I did have experience back in Nigeria. So they tend to want that from you, and without that, um you need a referral, you need to network, you just need to get your foot in the door. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, guys, don't sleep on networking. And networking goes beyond sliding into people's DMs on LinkedIn. You have to be your own advocate. Don't be ashamed to say, look, I'm looking for a job, or auntie or uncle, because you just never know. Someone might know someone who knows someone, and who would help you to get your next role. Okay, so that takes me on to my next question, which is that what advice do you have for someone considering a career move from law to compliance?
Simple, just do it. I think what tends to happen, and what happened with me before I did my stopping to reset and to think about what I really wanted to do is many times, I mean, you spend so many years doing law, 5 years for some, 4 years, then you go into the law school, and law school is just a whole other ballgame entirely. And then you possibly start to work somewhere, or you have a master's degree. I even went ahead to get an LLM, and you start to feel a little scared, I guess. You're thinking, all these years of all this work I've put in, all of this effort into being the law, and am I just tossing all of this aside? And all I have to say really is that you should just go ahead and do it. Just take a chance on yourself. And this is, as regards anything at all in life. If you have a dream in your heart to become an actor or a dancer or something, or whatever it is, just take a chance on yourself. That's what I'll say. Just think about feeling fulfilled. Nothing beats fulfillment and just living in purpose, what you're meant to be doing, as opposed to doing the motions of life. A lot of people are really just doing the motions. And I'm saying all this to say, you want to, take a career in compliance, go ahead and do it. Who knows, you might want to go back to law later on in life. Take that chance on yourself, just do it. I was talking to somebody the other day who studied law, and then she just took some time out, said she wanted to work with an NGO, and then after that she said, what, she wanted to start doing some acting, some drama acting, and she's just doing everything. And she, recently she spoke to me and she said, what, she's thinking to just carry on, go to law school, and go on with that. And to be honest, it's perfectly okay. Sometimes you think everybody else has life figured out, but there's so much joy as well, or there should be so much joy in the process. Just take it one day at a time, take it as it comes, and take a chance on yourself. You never know what it is that will really hit and have you feeling happy and fulfilled and all of that in life. So I'm saying all of this to say, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do. You might even come back to law eventually. And then just to really answer the question, go ahead and do it. Yes. And if later on you feel like you want to go back to law, like I said earlier, compliance isn't really too far-fetched from law. Here in the UK, you can then subsequently go and do the SQEs. You've done compliance for a bit, you can be a regulatory lawyer, you can be a compliance lawyer. There's all of that. So if you want to still do the legal parts of it, go on ahead and just take a shot on yourself. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So yeah, like what you said is that your career is an adventure. So just take each day as it comes. Don't overthink it. If not, you'll be stuck where you are. And exactly. Okay. So oh wait, let me just ask you this question. Do you think, well, never say never, but do you think you would take the SQE and you'd transition back to law or go back to law?
I'm like you said, never say never. I'm not too sure now. I've considered it, to be honest, because what's the harm, I guess? um it's a lot of money, of course. There's the money to it, and of course time studying. So I really need a stretch of time when I can actually study and just devote my time to studying for the exams, because it's not an exam I would like to have to do over. So I really will need to take out that time to study and do it. But I'll consider it, I guess, when the time is right, or when I feel like I have that gap. um yeah, just take it. I'm in a chill space in life now. I really am just taking things one day at a time, not comparing myself with anybody, not just doing it one day at a time.
What you said about not comparing yourself with anybody is, I think that's so important, because sometimes, as people in our 20s, we see our mates, or I'm sure you have some mates who maybe you went to law school together, and then they're earning like big bucks here. And then you're like, "Ah, maybe I should have gone. Yeah, maybe I should have. I mean, I'm smart, I can do the work, but would you feel fulfilled? That's the question. Yeah. Okay. So, what qualities do you believe are essential for someone who wants to work in compliance?
Hmm. Really and truly speaking, you just need that analytical mind, which I believe everyone who's done law transitioning into compliance should have. But if you don't have a background in law, you really just need to be able to break things down. It's like you're unpacking something. That's really what compliance is. You have the policies, you have the procedures, you have the law essentially, and you're just ensuring that what your company is doing is following the policies and the procedures that are set out by law. So it's really just that. And so you're analyzing on a case by case basis, whatever it is, because I mean, there's obviously many different sides to compliance, but just talking generally, right? You really just need to unpack and understand exactly what's unfolding before you. Once you're able to unpack that and analyze, and then you're able to just break things down. So I think I'll just say a very analytical mind. You need to be quite very meticulous because you can't miss out on the tiny details. Um, and really, I'll just say diligence, because you putting all the work, you are thorough enough, you'll see the results. That's really what it is. So yeah, that's it. Just really analytical mind. There's so many angles, so you do need to be downright assertive. So specifically, what I do a lot of. I deal directly with the business, and there's a lot of back and forth on that, because business just wants to bring in business, isn't it? They just want to bring in the money, but then you're trying to make sure that everything is in order. Otherwise, the company could get in some really, really big trouble. Really big trouble. So you have to make sure that you set things straight. You make sure that everything is done as it should be done, and you know you can't just accept anything as it is. You need to be clear. You do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you feel like you have those skill sets, so I mean, there's always room for development. So you can come and join us in compliance. Yeah, just to yeah, I was just wondering, so what aspect of compliance do you do? Because I know compliance is very broad. I was speaking to a friend yesterday who would like to transition into compliance, but she was also confused. She said, like, what exactly do you do? And
Specifically at the moment, it's anti-money laundering. So what that means is when business is trying to bring business into the company, or even existing clients really, who are already part of the company, or they just want to kick off a new transaction or do whatever. I'm just ensuring that from an anti-money laundering perspective, from a know your customer perspective, that's KYC, that all is in order. So that's essentially at the core of it. This is baseline, because there's so much more to it. There's checks that need to be done, all of that, just unpacking the company. And that's where your legal experience really does come in handy, from your company law and all of that, because many times you have all kinds of companies, all kinds of structures. You know how we do, we create the craziest structures just to get things done, and you have to really unpack that to know exactly what it is you're dealing with. So yeah, that's it. Just high level pointers on anti-money laundering and stuff that yeah.
absolutely. So if you're a lawyer, you can do compliance. It sounds like I'm trying to sell compliance to you, but I mean, I'm biased. Okay, so are there things that you feel that you could have done differently, reflecting on your career transition journey?
Honestly, I think I would have been more bold, um, about selling myself, because, like I said, even the one I got, the job I got, was thanks to somebody else blowing my trumpet, essentially. So I think I would have been more intense about that, or intense with that rather. So on that note, well done, Tele. I see how active you are on LinkedIn, and all of that, and this is really it. Um, because it's what you carry. That's the truth. You know what you carry, and I can almost assure anybody who's hardworking, who's diligent, who puts their heart into what they do, that once you have a foot in the door, you will shine. That's the truth. So you need to get your foot in the door as well. You really need to get your foot in the door, because there's so much that you have to offer. There's so much that you bring to the table. There's so much that organization would draw from you. And so to the extent that you believe in yourself, then sell yourself. Just let people know what you bring to the table. There's really no harm in it. Tell everybody and anybody what you bring to the table. I think that's what I would have done better. I'm not really that. In fact, that's something I want to do better this year. Even now, I feel like I'm not the best at, doing that. Oh, I do this, making all that small talk, because you never know where it comes in handy. People say, oh yeah, Gboremi should just compliance. Actually, to be fair, maybe I'm not doing too bad, because almost every other Sunday in church, somebody comes to meet me and says, oh, I heard you're doing compliance, or my pastor has sent somebody my way. So maybe I'm not doing too badly. But just everywhere else, of course, and in the spaces where it matters. When people hear from you, they know, oh, Tella would know this thing. Oh, Gboremi does this. Well, I've heard her speak about this. And it makes a world of difference. So get your foot in that door. Get your foot in the door. And shine. And shine.
Absolutely. You have to be your own advocate. Even me too, like, it doesn't come naturally to me. I would tell you. Maybe my husband has rubbed off on me. Like, he was the LinkedIn person, and now he comes to me for advice on all these like CV things, and say, I'm like, okay. Now the student has become the teacher, but yeah, yeah, you can be the most hardworking in your team. You can even be the smartest in your team, but if you're not visible, then nobody's aware if you don't put yourself out there. Yeah, thanks for that.
Except you have a great boss.
Exactly. Yeah, and even at that, you know how some people play politics, you know?
There is politics. There is politics. That's something that you have to understand the nuances of, and just it's work, it's life. That's what it is. Sometimes the most quiet person in the team, who's doing all the work, you really just won't. I mean, you're the most quiet person in the team, so you won't get noticed. And then people who are just all talk and not much else to show for it are getting in, having doors open up to them, but they're not even doing half as much as you're doing. They're not putting in all the work that you're doing. So just every now and then, speak up, just get out of that shell. It's really not that hard. If you know something, then you can talk about it anywhere. You can be woken up from sleep and you're able to just rap on about it. So just why not, It's not silly to talk in a meeting. It's not silly to answer questions. It's not silly to ask questions. You're asking the right questions. It sheds light on stuff, and it just, you have no idea how many doors will open up for you. Yeah.
So, are there any challenges that you have faced during this career transition journey that you would like to share?
To be honest, other than what I've said about the unfortunately's, because it does take a toll, and it can be really demoralizing. That's what it is. Because you know what you carry, you know what you've put in your CV, you know what you can do. You read the job descriptions and you think, come on. And then it's one unfortunately after the other. So that was a major challenge for me. I know some people are really tough, and they just keep at it, but I even think even the toughest people can be really broken by that. But I'll just encourage everyone to see that as a season. You're in a new space, you're in a new environment, and just like I said earlier, it's experience. For whatever reason, experience is really the main thing in the UK. I do wish they'd take a chance on people who don't have UK experience, and just take a chance on transferable skills once they can see that on your CV. But many organizations really would rather not. They just like people who already know what, the regulatory waters and what all of it is. This is not just applicable to compliance. So they want anybody who already knows what works, or how it works in the jurisdiction, the space where you are, which is the UK. And that's sad, but you have to keep at it. You have to keep at it. Just think of it as a season, and that what's yours is coming to you eventually. So I think that was the most challenging thing for me. The unfortunately is it was a really low time, just getting all of that. Yeah.
Everyone has had their fair share of, unfortunately, knows. In fact, some recruiters won't even, they'll just ghost you.
Yeah.
And I find that so rude.
So rude.
Honestly.
So rude.
But yeah, thank God for everything. You are here.
Yeah.
You're a shining star. You're a success story, which is why you're here, anyways. So yes, it's just important to endure. And then it's so funny how they expect you to have UK experience. But how would you have UK
How?
experience
Yeah.
if they don't want to employ you?
Yeah,
So it's like,
exactly.
yeah,
You have to take a chance. You have to take a chance on me for me to have that experience, isn't it? But like I said, that's where
exactly.
networking comes in, referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Once you can get a
Mm.
referral and you do a good job at the interview, you do a good job, every step of the way. I think referrals are more of it, and that's what I'll encourage for people who are relocating as well. So I mean, if you've been here all your life and you have the experience, that's great. But if you're just coming in, you just reach out to people, reach out to Tele, reach out to me, and we'll talk to someone who might know someone who knows someone who knows someone who might be able to help and get you a referral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now to the juicy bits. This is the last question, which is culture shocks. So did you? I'm sure you must have encountered a few. So can you share them with us?
I think, to be honest, it's really just the small talk. Um,
Mm.
it's a lot of small talk, which isn't bad, I guess. I've kind of gotten used to it. I do the whole "how is your lovely weather outside," all of that. I mean, I guess I've tried to stop to think about it. I wonder if it's many times the awkwardness of just being in a space with somebody and not having anything to say, which truly speaking shouldn't really matter. Just get on with it. We're all there to work, isn't it? But you have to make the small talk. And you also have to go out to drinks, even if you don't drink. Drink something that doesn't have alcohol. When I say don't drink, I mean alcohol, of course. Take something, and because the thing is after work hours, when you go out to the pubs, that's where all the real bonding, I guess, happens. That's where all the real networking happens. If you're looking to grow in your career, you should go out to drinks when you're invited. And just be there. You don't even have to say too much. Every now and then, just give your 2 cents on whatever is being discussed. It's really just small talk, not much else goes on there. Sometimes there'll be work conversations that pop up, just because I think there's a lot of connections that are built there and networking opportunities that allow for growth. I've spoken with a few people who have said it was in those kind of scenarios, those kinds of spaces, that they were able to move to some other side of business that they would have liked to be on. So, there's that. Just go there and unwind, I guess. Even if it's not really your thing, an hour and a half, and go home. No matter how reserved you are, there's a lot of going to the pubs. Say, oh, go out for drinks, and it's really drinks. I think that was the shock for me, the main shock, because they say, oh, come out to drinks, and it's really just drinks, no food, no small chops. I'm like, oh, really? Nothing to just munch on. It's really just drinks, and just keeps rolling. But yeah, I think that was it for me. Other than that, I mean, a really diverse team, which is fantastic. I enjoy that because we're all kinds of people from all different parts of the world, and we just kind of share our 2 cents with one another. We say, well, this is just not how things are done. This is how things are done here, and we're learning, so to speak. It's not really a big deal. We do all of that. We also have team activities, so if you ever have those, you should always attend. Time to bond. We'd have like little picnics. All members of the team bring our like food and everything. I think where I work is just a really culturally diverse environment, so that's great and that's nice. We even kind of make fun of one another every once in a while, and it's not taken personal and doesn't go to HR, so that's nice. Yeah, so it's just what it is. But yeah, I think small talk, going to the pub, drinks, I think it's not something I really experienced in Nigeria. You don't have to talk to people you don't know just because you're like in the coffee area. You have to make small talk. You have to, yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
So this has been very interesting, very insightful, and very enlightening. I hope you enjoyed this. But Gboremi, please could you give us like your final, parting words?
Parting words. I think it will really just be what I said earlier. about taking a chance on yourself. Just take a chance on you. I think, and not to be too deep or any of that, but life is really too short. It really is too short for you to be, wasting your time, or just doing the motions. I specifically like to say doing the motions, because some people aren't really living. They're just, we go again tomorrow. We just, so just stop to think. I think I can say without any shadow of doubt that it's a worthwhile decision to make, to stop and think about what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. If you'd rather be doing something else, if you're happy, if you find fulfillment in what you're doing, if you feel like you're living and walking in purpose, or if you think you're just doing the motions. If you think you're just doing the motions, then stop to think and take a chance on yourself. That thing that's constantly ringing at the back of your head, to just try this out. It might be to just start that YouTube channel. It might be to move over to acting, to do anything. Just do it. Just take a chance on yourself. Just be happy and fulfilled and at peace. You need that inner peace. I think that will really that's those will be my last words. Just yeah. And of course, you have to do the hard work. Of course, there's nothing is easy, so to speak. Doing a YouTube channel is not easy. Nothing is. I mean, when you then decide that you're going to do this, you ensure that you're putting in your heart, you're doing it passionately, you're giving it all you've got. And yeah, I think that's the recipe for a happy and fulfilled and purposeful life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gboremi. I think you should start a podcast.
Guys, but this has been a very interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Gboremi, for being here. I know you're very busy right now, but you still gave me like an hour of your time today, and I am so grateful. It was an absolute pleasure having you on my channel. So
Thank
thank
you
you
guys
guys
for
for
watching.
watching.
Thank you, Tele, for having me. Thank you, everyone. So make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, and all the motions. Tele is fantastic.
Yay! Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.